Welcome to Weird Stuff in a Can from Japan. This is a series where I'm going to be reviewing weird things that I find in a can that come from the country of Japan. It goes without saying that I did borrow the idea from this series from Atomic Shrimp, but don't worry, we'll give it back. For our first episode, we're going to be looking at the super dry Asahi Jockey can. I never really thought I'd be drinking from a jockey, but there's a first time for everything, so let's get started. So what is weird about the Asahi Super Dry? It's a draft beer in a can, and you might think to yourself, well, that's pretty normal, that's not weird at all. What's special about this can is the lip. You usually have like a small, just like a regular beer can opening where you just pull it and drink. This one, you can rip the lid off the top, and the idea is that it makes it into a jockey, which is the Japanese word for mug or stein. And it kind of replicates the head that you might get on a beer that you order in a bar. And Japanese people actually really like to have head on their beer, sometimes too much, as you may be familiar if you've seen some of my other videos. So you just rip off the top apparently, and let's do it. Oh, there's a bit of a pop. Wasn't quite expecting that, it was a bit of an explosion. But yeah, the can just comes off the top like this. Kind of reminds me of the old type of beer cans where they just rip off the top that they stopped making because people weren't recycling it. And right off the bat, look at this, it's kind of foaming up. I haven't really quite seen anything quite like this. Now, the ads for this beer were actually quite funny, and is why I wanted to buy this. Everyone seems really excited about this really foamy top, and you keep seeing people's hands holding it, and they're kind of like pushing it up with their hands to make it really bubble. Let's see if we can get a bit closer. Maybe a bit too close. There we go. Look, it's almost foaming over the top, but it's kind of being held by the lip, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, just let it sit for a moment, and the head is really actually quite cool. It's kind of making like a dome, a foam dome, you might say, actually. So yeah, let's give it a taste before it actually overflows. Yeah, it's Japanese draft beer. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Japanese draft beer. It's pretty flavorless in my opinion. Asahi's pretty famous for having a very kind of mild taste, kind of like a German sort of dry beer, kind of crisp taste, and not very strong in the hops and anything. I actually much prefer a beer like this from a local craft brewery, the Two Rabbits Smoked Scotch Ale. This is a really good beer, but I can't find this everywhere, unfortunately. So just letting it sit for a little bit, the foam is coming up again. I'm not sure how they do that. It keeps endlessly foaming apparently, but I'm just going to pour it into another cup. Hopefully we won't spill anything, and just so you can see what Japanese beer is like. There we go. So you see it's kind of like a very kind of just standard draft beer, a very clear, and again, like I said, it's kind of just tastes the same every time. It's a very reliable beer, but not one that I would really say is the best just for taste. It's good for drinking with your friends, and that's about it. But yeah, the can is quite an interesting design, and I actually looked at the website for this, and they said that the special pull tab makes it so that it's not sharp on the corners here. So I'm going to try risking my finger for this experiment. I'm going to see if I can cut my finger on the sides by rubbing it around, and you know what, it's actually pretty smooth. I was worried I was going to get maybe a paper cut or something, but no, it actually seems quite good, quite drinkable. So while you can appreciate the lovely golden color of this beer, I'll take another one from this cup. Yeah, not bad. So I decided to drink the rest of the beer from the can and then clean it out so we could have a bit of a look. If you ever come to Japan, this is the symbol you need to look for beer. This is osake, so this means alcohol. And there's a lot of Japanese drinks that have alcohol in them. Some of them are very weak, maybe 1 or 2%, which can be quite sweet and quite nice, but there are some that you have to watch out for that are really strong, like maybe a strong zero, which is up around 9% in a can that costs only about $1. So you have to be careful of that. But yeah, if you can think of something I can do with this can, I feel like I should recycle it or use it for a craft or something. I could just drink my regular coffee out of it. I could maybe put a little plant in it or something cute, or make like one of those little ovens or something. I feel like there is something you could do with this wide open lip. I have to have a think about that. Anyway, that was Weird Stuff in a Can from Japan, episode 1. Next time, let's try and find something a bit more weird, maybe some bee larvae or a bear meat in a can you can get from Hokkaido. Until the next one, peace, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a nice night.